Hi everyone, this is Kelly Schimmoller. I am the Director of Stewardship at Pax Christi. I am also the Project Manager and Liaison for our Pax Christi building project. I am so sorry I wasn't able to attend your meeting last night. I am in North Carolina helping my in-laws, but I wanted to take a minute to go through the slides with you. I know it was a lot of information and it's a lot to take in. So I would like to slowly go through things with you. I encourage you to watch this video at your own speed and time. Watch it several times, pause when you need to. Hopefully I will answer a lot of your questions and give you some more information that maybe you hadn't received last night. I also want to let you know that everything I'm sharing with you in this video is not a secret. You are welcome to share this information as you are making your visits with people. We're not looking to necessarily spread it out to everyone, as we will launch the campaign September 27th and 28th, but there are no secrets. We want you to feel comfortable and not worried about what you're saying and having conversations with people. I want you to feel calm and just very comfortable while you are making these new connections with our parishioners. Because as we do this capital campaign, one of our goals is to create more relationships. And so I want you to feel very comfortable when you're going on your visits with your people. So let's get started. So in the orientation, you had our opening prayer. I can go through that real quick with you. This is one that Father wrote based on St. Francis. And I think it's lovely. He did a great job. That's why we have the St. Francis prayer on the opposite side. Dear Jesus, as you love us, we aspire to love and serve you. We humbly ask your blessing as we step forward in faith to build for the future of our Pax Christi Catholic community. We offer you the best of our time, talent, and treasure as we strive to be good stewards of your countless blessings. Help us to seek after your heart. Grant favor upon this project that it may help us to love and serve others more, bringing light and peace to this world. Amen. Okay. So that was your agenda. I have told you who I am. I want to thank you all all for wanting to take part in this project, to support us, to share your love for Pax Christi. That's what this is really about. Just sharing how much you love this parish, how important it is in your life. It was easy to find you because, yeah, you love our parish. I love our parish. So, let me talk about the project. Back in the last fall, we did a Steyr planning study. We hired Steyr group consultants to do this study for us. We opened it up to everyone in the parish, and a large number of people participated. What we found was that people felt our current Christie Hall, the Great Hall, is just getting too small. We've grown. I mean, we've almost tripled in size, which is a wonderful blessing to have. But it's making it really difficult to serve our ministries and our community. And so the parish responded saying, we need some more space. We also want our food pantry to be successful because we are one of the only food pantries in this area, and I think in Douglas County. So it's important to us that we can continue to help our community. As we have grown, your staff has grown, and we are snuggling quite a bit in the office, trying to juggle our hours and our times in there. I know you can't always find us, and that's because we're trying to juggle our time so that we can each have the space to work and serve you. So what you said, the parish said in the survey, was that you would support, first and foremost, more space for meetings, for the parish, for gatherings. And then secondly, and staff and all that. And then secondly, some upgrading in our nave, which we will get to there. Part of the study also looked at what people would be willing to contribute. And so the study found that we had the possibility of raising, I think it's $3.2 to $4 million. That's not a definite anything. That was just a study being done. And the people who participated, that was the information that came back. Steyr is very good at their job, though. And so we took their numbers into our planning because we obviously want to have a successful project that we can do. So I know you've seen all these Steyr things. You're welcome to go through those slowly. The feedback was very good from Steyr. So we had been working with an architect who was lovely, but we both came to the realization that we just weren't quite getting to where we wanted to be, and that maybe we weren't quite the right fit, which is fine. That happens sometimes. So Father decided to pause. He brought me on board, and we started the process from the very beginning. So we researched architects, we wrote an architectural brief, we wrote an RFP. I learned all sorts of things that I didn't know before, and now I do. We interviewed and we selected an architect that we were confident would be able to bring our needs to a beautiful design. We also decided to hire a contractor almost at the same time because we want them to work together. And the benefit of that is that when they work together, you have the architect coming up with designs while the contractor is looking at prices and the cost of things. And when they work together, they come up with a better design because these things now go together. We have a beautiful design that fits in our budget and is staying in our budget. And so that was really important to us. We're working with EDOS architects. John Rosenthal is our principal architect, and he's lovely. And we're working with Colorelli Construction. Vince Colorelli is the owner. He is also a trained architect, which is an amazing benefit because he also has both sides now. He and John work beautifully together, though they haven't before this time. But I can tell you, when they're in a room together, it is absolutely magical. So, taking the feedback from the study, we have been working really hard to pull that into fruition. And here's where we landed. This is one campaign, which means we are just raising money one time. In that campaign, we have different tiers. So think of a tier like a temperature gauge. So if you get to 98.3 Fahrenheit, you have reached tier 1. If you get to 100% Fahrenheit, you're all of tier 1, and now you're tier 2 also. So some additional things. And then tier 3 includes everything we thought of that's really important for Pax Christi right now to take care of the community, kind of our master plan. So for tier 1, the bottom tier, and this would be the 3.2 to 4 million that Steyer was confident that we could raise, that's where this fell. So everything in this tier had to be between 3.2 to 4 million, in that range. So we're successful there. Steyer could give you all this, how they have formulas, how they figure all that out. And then our contractor is just really careful about how he puts his numbers together. I'll talk a little bit more about that process too as we go along. So we decided that building a new parish hall with flexible dividers, it's almost 5,000 square feet, was really going to be one huge solution that the parish asked for. This hall is connected to the current kitchen, so it has kitchen access, which is absolutely essential for the parish hall. It will have a window, sort of like that rolling window we have on the current side. It will have the same thing on the other side, so that it can be used for coffee and donuts and funerals and work in the same way. The dividers are flexible so that we can configure that big space in a number of different ways. You'll see when I get to the drawing, there's not a lot of details yet. We don't have the windows and the doors exactly placed yet. What was important is that we're in the conceptual design. We're in the big design. So we need the big pieces first, and then we're going to get to those details. What we're hoping is for the parish hall to have a glass opening to the narthex that could be opened up so the overflow could move into the parish hall very easily and seamlessly. We also would like the outside wall of this new parish hall to have some sort of large doors, rolling doors, something where we could open up that parish hall and be an inside and outside event. So you could flow right to the outside. That again gives us enormous potential for other events and opportunities. You will see a couple little boxes. Those are just storage for these dividers when they're not being used. So they just needed a place to go. And there's one more closet which holds tables and chairs. So if we didn't need all those set up, we need a place for those to go. The second thing that seemed most important is to have a new drop-off and handicap access. Our current one is difficult. It's in the back. It's also very shaded. This new drop-off and handicap access parking is immediately, so you take that turn on Jaguar and you take a left to start our circle, and immediately you will see the new front of the narthex. The doors will move so they face right there. This drop off will take you right by those doors. It'll be so much easier for people to park. It also is much more welcoming, which was our what we really wanted to focus on. I can't tell you how many times we get deliveries and they go all over the place. They cannot figure out where Jan and Lori sit in the office. We can only imagine the people who visit us, they just don't know where to go. And that's not who we are. So this new drop-off will make it very clear as soon as you take that left, exactly where you go. You'll come right in that narthex, which will be the center of everything. And we'll probably have a new welcome desk very close. That's not exactly determined yet, but it's going to be there so that when guests or you come into that welcome space, there's someone there to greet you and help you to find whatever you need to find. That is welcoming to all. So looking at this, you can see on here, in the top right is that turn into Jaguar Drive. And then you would take that first yellow arrow is when you're turning into our circular drive. So you can see that pink area. And again, these are, they're just concept drawings. So will it be that funny little shape of the drop-off? No. Obviously, fire trucks have to be able to get through there. Those will be taken care of. But that's where the drop-off will go. So you immediately can turn right on there. You can drop off the people who need to get close to that front door. Deliveries, no. Pop right in there. That's where we go. There will be parking in there also. So it's a drive and some parking, which should be lovely for our folks who really need that. Where the red arrow is pointing is showing you right here where that front door is going to be. So this is our current narthex, this small rectangle here. We'll add a little bit here because we need to connect to that new hall. So this will be the door. So instead of coming this way, this is our current doors right here. We'll be facing this way. This southern exposure is also great because with the snow and the ice, it's going to melt, which is so much safer. So Tier 1 has the drop-off right here. It has a little bit bigger narthex, but remember these are some big doors that can open up so we can spill into this really nice, big, flexible parish hall. That is Tier 1. That is the 3.2 to 4 million project. That is the base of what we're hoping for. And if we just did that, it would solve so many problems. It will allow all our ministries to be here. Funerals, wedding, we can hold wedding receptions, which we can at the moment because we're just not big enough for many of them. It will help our staff because the great hall over here can now be used for the pantry. The pantry does not have to move when there's a funeral. They have this entrance over here, so the rest of the parish is mostly coming over here. That gives them a nice entry point. The staff will probably stretch out a little bit here, so we're not kind of climbing over each other quite so much. So this space we can possibly use for OCIA programming. RE programming, so that we are not taking this from the rest of the parish. We don't have that conflict anymore. So that is a nice solution. That's tier 1. Now, tier 2. Oh, here's a picture. Sorry. This is what it would look like. So those of you who are visual, you can see this is the wall where the current overhang is that borders this is the kitchen wall. So it fits nicely here. Again, there will be some sort of doors here. These are conceptual designs. They don't have doors and windows. Our current buildings have them on them, but not the new ones because we haven't got to schematic design, which we'll talk about. So there's some sort of doors here. There's obviously windows. There's lots of light in this building. These doors allow you to come out onto this nice plaza area where we can move our tables and chairs and spill out, when we're just having so much fun and we want to be an inside-outside event. This is where that front door will be in that tier 1, and this is that drop-off area. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. This is our chapel, by the way, just to make sure you're all in the right place. And this is our prayer labyrinth. This also keeps everything away from the preschool. It also allows us to have our church services, to keep having our ministry things here while this is getting constructed. It doesn't get in the way of what we're doing. And Colorelli is very passionate about making sure that when they are constructing, that they are not in our way, and that we can continue like we normally do. So we do not have to stop things. We don't have to move. And that's important. We're busy, and we want to keep that up. Tier 2. So again, if we raise the $4 million, that pays for the things in tier 1, that drop off, little bigger narthex, that parish hall, and kind of moving a temporary welcome desk over there. For tier 2, what we wanted to do is, our bathrooms are over in the Great Hall there. It's kind of a trek sometimes, especially if you have little ones who can't get that far. And as I'm getting older, let me be honest, sometimes it's a little far to walk. So having accessible bathrooms that are in the middle of that campus, where if you're in the parish hall, if you're in the church, if you're in the offices, that they are easy to get to for all of those. We also would like to open up that narthex a little bit bigger. By doing tier 2, we save a little money on the narthex if we can make a little bigger entry. And then the column when you first walk into our church that you always walk straight into, that has our oils, we would like to take that out. However, we can't take the steel beam because it's a supporting structure. So what we'd like to do is turn it so as you are facing the altar, picture yourself standing with your nose to the column, but take the column out and just leave the steel beam. The steel beam would be the center of some huge glass doors and walls that then are the new entrance into the church. These doors face the altar exactly, and the tabernacle, completely in line with there. If you need to step out of the church, if maybe you have a little person who's not having a good day, you could step out of these doors. You would still have the sound system to hear Mass, and you could see everything going on in Mass. We don't have a lot of weddings in the church because there's the column there. I mean, we all know. We walk into the column every time we go in. We don't see the Lord right away. This new glass entry will be a beautiful new focus on the altar and the tabernacle, which I think is just going to be so lovely. That narthex will get a little bit bigger. It will have some seating in there. So those people who do need to maybe sit outside of Mass for whatever reasons, will have some seating. Again, they can still see into the church and the Mass, and they can hear everything. It will also have, I believe John is talking about having a little, you'll see the box with two sets of doors coming in so that it mitigates the air, so that you keep cold air in the summer and you keep warm air in the winter, instead of just having the doors that are constantly, open and shut, and you waste a lot of energy because you're losing some of that air. So he's trying to make sure that it's a little more climate controlled as you're coming into that. And we're renaming the narthex, some of you call it the link, to the Welcome Center. It's the center of everything now. Where you walk in that door, you come into the Welcome Center, and you can head to the church, you can head to the new parish hall, you can head to the parish offices. So, again, very fitting with who we are. So here is a look. You will see here, I know it's very tiny there. I'm not super adept at this, but it's purple here, so possibly on your screen you can make it a little bit bigger. But you can see this now makes this whole area that I'm pointing, that I'm kind of circling with my mouse, it makes this the whole Welcome Center. It brings that front door to the church right here. So you will see before, let me go back. Oh, no, we can't go back. Okay. You will see that it really now faces the whole parking lot right here, that front. It gives us a nice little space here instead of a tiny little space that we walk through currently. It gives you a little bit over here where, again, if you have those little people and you have to step outside or for whatever reason, some chairs around here where they can sit and still see the Mass. This is where that new entrance to the church will be, the double clear doors with that steel beam in the middle. You can see the altar would be here. The tabernacle is here. So beautifully set up there, beautifully facing there. And then here is where those bathrooms would be. They will kind of go into where the sacristy, as you come into the church, right, you'll notice right around this corner here, we do have a set of rooms. The sacristy's in there, the confessional's in there. So this would be right at the beginning. The piping's already there, which is great. We still will have a walkway here, which John is being very careful because we have mechanical here and he doesn't want to get into that. But there still will be a walkway here. So it's not like you can't access things this way. We'd like to shut off this as an emergency exit only. For security reasons, I know you've seen the news lately. It's a little scary that when people enter this door, when we have masses on the weekend, we really can't see them. We can't see them in this little tiny area. When people are sending their kids back here to the bathroom, we don't have anyone back there watching them. And we don't want anything bad to happen, but I guess we need to be careful. And we just need to think about security. And so we are. So again, you can access here. There will be a walkway. None of this is changing. Like, I'm only showing you things changing. Everything else stays exactly the same. So bathrooms, larger narthex. It's not a huge jump between tier 1 and tier 2 in cost. Colarelli is working really hard on getting those numbers for us. We're hoping to have them really soon. And as we have them, we will share them. I believe they should be out by the time you have your campaign packets. But I want to say this is, I think it's less than $1 million more just to add the bigger narthex and these bathrooms in, which would be great. We I will share with you, we were just meeting with structural, mechanical, and electrical engineers this week, as well as Douglas County, because we need them involved in order to narrow these numbers down. It's not something you can do faster. Everything just takes a while to pull all this together, to start plans, to get those plans to a place where you feel confident this is what you want, and then you get the engineers involved. You can't have them involved before, because everything could change, and then you're paying for all these engineers and taking the time for Douglas County, which takes a while to get that appointment. We're trying not to waste time, and we certainly don't want to waste any money. Okay, tier 3. Here are the other things that we feel would be very helpful to address the needs of the parish. We are not addressing any wish lists. I know everyone would love to have an industrial kitchen. We totally wanted that. It was there at first. They're so expensive. They're so expensive. If any of you win the lottery, oh my gosh, we'll have an industrial kitchen. But till then, we're not going to do anything that gets in the way of someday having one, because someday we should, and hopefully we will. But it's just not in the budget right now. The needs of the parish and the real critical needs of the parish just are outweighing that. Do we want one someday? Absolutely. And again, we won't do anything that gets in the way of that construction and possibilities. That's being always carefully looked at. So the third phase, that means we will have done we will do everything in tier 1. We will do everything in tier 2. If we get beyond that in our capital campaign and the money we raise, that opens these possibilities up. The first thing people are very supportive of is our pantry. And what we'd like to do is construct a standalone pantry. By doing that, it allows them to never have to close down when we have a funeral, or any staff events, or anything, because they have their own space. It would also allow them to be locked off from the whole rest of the church and the parish, so that they could open anytime they want. If they need to change their hours, if they want to open up more often, that would be a possibility. The entrance to the pantry would turn into those doors that currently go into the Great Hall from the outside. That will be nice because people will park over there to go to the pantry. You will have the rest of the church over in that drop-off and in that side of the campus. So now we're not even running into each other. You can have your funeral, you can have the pantry. They're not near each other. And these two important things can go on at one time. We do need to renovate the administrative offices. We need to make sure we're planning for future staff. We're not stopping our growth. We just keep growing, which is great. But eventually you're going to need more staff to have more hours, and probably a lot more full-time people than part-time people. And you're going to need room for them to do that. So we've got to renovate that space. We have to find room for people and their programming, so that they can continue to serve you and continue to serve the future Pax Christi. We don't want to run into another campaign anytime soon. This needs to take us forward into the future. We don't want to start another thing right away or anytime in the near future. In the church, since we have now, in tier 2, we moved that entry door so that it is now facing the altar and the tabernacle. There's an emergency exit that is back by the tabernacle. Jesus has told us he does not need that. He's good. It's a little distracting there, as well as the air return that goes over his head. So we'd like to renovate that wall, make it a little more reverent. Move the emergency exit towards the AV system. Same wall, but away from the tabernacle. That's the simple things we want to do in there. That would be beautiful because, again, you are now having a focal point of that tabernacle wall, and how beautiful to do some very simple and yet amazing, beautiful reverence for our tabernacle. You probably notice our carpeting is not looking its best. That should probably get replaced. We don't want it to become a huge hazard, and it's kind of heading in that direction. It's been here a while. It's served a lot of us, and now a lot of people are walking on it, so it's getting a lot of use. We also need some new lighting. Father's light over the altar does not work currently, so it's hard for him to see. But it can get kind of dark in there. And if we're going to have these beautiful glass doors, we're going to have a nice focal point on the altar and the tabernacle wall, then we're going to need some good lighting in there so everyone can see well. The last item is a new parking lot that we are hoping to add. This is part of why I was on a call with Douglas County, with our architect and our contractor. I don't know if they're going to allow it. I have a feeling it's a small chance, but I am going to be the hopeful person that this could happen. So let me show you. Here's tier 3. Let's start with that parking. And I know I am covering up a little here, so I apologize. This is turning on Jaguar. This is that left. Here's that drop off. But on this side, this is where we have our sign currently for Pax Christi up in the hill. When Colorelli does construction, they will be using this area over here for their staging for their equipment, so they stay out of our way. So this will get leveled and probably some crushed gravel on here. What we're hoping is, in addition to having this become new parking, that right here we add, and you can't see because I'm right here, but this is a line that goes directly across here, right across my neck. And it goes out to MacArthur Ranch Road. It would probably be a right in, right out turn, but wouldn't that be great if everyone was parking here and people were here and they could get out this way if they were going right? You can't go left. Instead of all of us continuing to go, I know, going around this circle, it's such a bog, it takes so much time. So we are trying, John is fighting really hard for us with Douglas County to see if they will let us have this turn off here onto MacArthur Ranch Road. If they say no, they say no, but let's be hopeful. And so this will probably still be parking because the entrance is right here. Probably a lot more people are going to want to be on this side of campus than parking way over here to get around over to here. So this is a probable parking lot. Again, probably crushed gravel. If we do get this turn off, which would be so great, we probably would have to pave this parking lot and look into that expense. We're not going to go get quotes for that until we know for sure. Again, because we're not spending money without knowing that it's worthwhile. So we will explore paving this later when we know more information, but probably a crushed gravel lot. I don't know if any of you have been to St. Mark's, but they do have that as extra parking and it works pretty well. And so people could park here and then come out and then, of course, go around the circle. Um, but it would be nice that more of us can be over here. Again, this is going to be that southern exposure, so not as icy, not as snowy, a lot more melting, which would be great. This is the church. Again, we talked that emergency exit is right here. It would move up to here by the AV desk. And then just this wall here, kind of making that look a little more reverent. This is where the pantry would be, which is right here. Hopefully you can see my circling mouse. As you come in these doors, this would be a little vestibule for our pantry clients and families to sit and be welcomed and kind of sign in. And then this would be the pantry right here. This would all be able to be contained and locked off so that they, again, could use it whenever they want to. So they can serve their this population, which is really important to us, that we are there for these people who are struggling, and we just want to help. This would then be left for the offices, for the staff. Because we don't know what kind of budget we have, because we're talking tier 3. This is beyond the 4 million. It's beyond the 4 to 6, whatever tier 2 ends up falling. This is beyond that. Once we know more of that information, we can decide what can we do in this parish office to make it work for the current staff as well as the future staff of Pax Christi. So I think that kind of gives you an overview of the whole plan. So in this campaign, we are, again, one time. It's one campaign. It's not 3 campaigns. It's one campaign. It's a thermometer of how much we raise as to where we move from tier 1 to being able to do tier 2 to being able to do all or part of tier 3. Your part is, thankfully, and why we chose Steyer, is taking packets that have this information and delivering them to our parishioners. What we like about the Steyer model is that regardless of how much money we raise, and that is obviously something they're very good at, their model has parishioners reaching out to parishioners. And you're only delivering a package. You don't have to talk about money. You don't have to talk about, anything money. All you have to do is deliver the packet, contact them and see if they have any questions, which you can always refer to Diane, to me, or whoever your cabinet person is, and then just to collect the pledge card. There's no, please fill that out in front of me. There's just no talk about money. So the model is nice because we have a cabinet of people. Those people are the ones the ambassadors get to talk to. So you have like our cabinet of people, the Staubers and the Carsons are our chair people we're so thankful for. And then we have the folks who were contacted under there. Those people reached out to our ambassadors, so they get to talk to those people. Some of you know each other, some of you don't. I'm hoping that new friendships are made because, again, they were creating community. Then our ambassadors go out to new people and they make new friends. Hopefully you'll find things in common with the people you're going to visit. Hopefully you'll make some connections. What we're hoping is as everybody goes to visit other people, they're coming to Mass and they're like, hi, hey, it's great to see you. So you're seeing more and more faces that you recognize. We have so many new members. To connect them to this parish will be great. Some of you know each other really well, but there are others who just don't know a lot of people. So this method of everybody going out to some people and then those people going out to other people, just delivering packets, just collecting pledge cards, um, hopefully we're making connections. That's going to bring us closer together. And that's a blessing in itself. I mean, that's who we are. We're welcoming to everyone, and we just want everyone to feel like they are connected. They know somebody here, they have a friendly face um, that they see every week, so they feel like they're part of this family. Um, those of you who have been here a long time, I think you're still here because you love that. And we all want that. So the Steyer model was chosen because it not only is very successful in capital campaigns and raising money, but because they create great community the way that they do it. I know some of that model might have seemed confusing to you. I hope that makes more sense of how you're starting with this group of people who go out to another tier of people who then go out to another tier of people. So it's constantly one tier going out to another group of people. So everybody's reaching out to more and more people so we can get out to as many people in the parish as possible and really make them connected. I think that is about it. I know you can't ask me any questions because this is a video. However, you can ask me questions. You can ask me questions anytime. You can leave me a voicemail at church. I'm not there as much, again, because we're juggling these schedules. So email is better for me. Even if you email and say, Kelly, can you give me a call? Because I'd rather talk to you on the phone, or I'd rather meet you to talk to you in person. I'm totally fine with that. If you have questions, call me. Contact Diane. Contact me. We are here for you. This is not a, gosh, I hope you go out on the ocean and you don't drown kind of thing. It is a team. We are a family and a team. We're doing this together. So if you have questions, if you need more information about something, if you don't quite understand something, we're right here to answer those for you. Again, everything that I've shared today, none of this is a secret. You share it with all the people you go to. Feel free to talk to the person that you are giving your pledge card to. Let's have those conversations with each other. Make sure we don't have any misinformation or any confusion. I want you to feel excited. This is so great that we are so big and we keep growing. It's such a great blessing. Pax Christi is, I mean, I can't tell you how many people came up during stewardship and said, this is the best place I've ever been. It means the world to me. And I know it means the world to all of you. I mean, I know who is on this list. I know who is listening. And you started this legacy. You know. So I want you to feel excited that we are growing and we need to do this campaign. I want you to feel confident that you have the answers that you need, or that you know where to send people. Again, you can send any of your folks to me or Diane for conversations or questions anytime. We're a team. We're going to do this together. We're a family. We're more than a team. We're a family. So thanks for watching this. I know it was super long, but I hope I answered and clarified some of the things you needed to know. If there are more questions, let me know. Um, I know it was a lot last night. Um, and for some, it was a training, for some, it's an orientation, and it might have been confusing. The model is that first you have orientation, where you learn about the project, which is what I just went through right now. The second time you go is the training, where you actually talk more about going to people's homes, answering their questions, feeling confident about that part. So that's why you have the two meetings to go to. If after the training you're not ready or you still have questions, let us know. We'll answer them. We'll meet with you individually. We will make sure you're prepared and you feel good about what we're doing. So, again, these are, you can explain to people, these are concept designs. We're following a whole process here, and it all takes time, and it has to be done in the correct order. We are just finishing up concept design. After we finish that, and kind of while the campaign's going on, so we have an idea of what kind of budget we really do have, we'll move into schematic design. This is where you get into those details. This is where you're figuring out doors, what kind of partitions, what kind of movable dividers, all the way down to, what colors and what, granite versus laminate. All of those happen in that schematic, because as you have our engineers give us more information in Douglas County, our contractor can then narrow things down for us. The campaign will give us information about how much money we have. So it's all kind of connected. It's all the puzzle pieces that all fit together in the end. Some of the answers we just have to be patient with, and that's okay. I think we have a good, solid master plan, which is addressed what the parishioners have asked for. So I feel like we're in a good place. And I just want to thank you again for supporting this project and for wanting to be involved. We can't do this without you, nor would we ever want to. So thank you again. Let me know if you have any other questions, things that I can clarify for you or that Diane can. I hope you'll have a wonderful weekend, and we will see each other soon. Take care.